What's up, my allies? I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Zacharias, and this is Thank You Universe. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Today, we're going to talk about cuffing season and 4 tips for surviving cuffing season when you are single. So, what is cuffing season anyways? Basically, when the winter months come along, people get a little chilly, and they want to snuggle up next to someone nice and share all of their lovely holiday memories. So, cuffing season is basically what people use to refer to the cultural phenomenon of people just getting together for the holiday seasons, and then the relationship doesn't really go anywhere, they break up, it doesn't work out after the holiday season's over. But if you want to go at it alone and do it single and not cuff up to someone for just a brief period because you feel lonely because it's cold in the winter, then this video is for you. So go ahead and watch all 4 of our tips for surviving cuffing season. So the first tip is to stop seeking approval and outside validation, because so many of us learn to do this, and our society really plugs these messages, especially around the holiday season, of romance and this idea that you need to be in a relationship to complete you, and that happiness comes from being in a relationship, and anyone who's single could never possibly be happy. And if you're single during the winter holidays, you should probably feel bad about yourself. And although no one really directly says it, that is this general cultural consensus, this idea that we need to be with other people and get their approval to feel good about ourselves. But we can learn to feel good about ourselves without outside validation, and just loving ourselves for who we are and not needing to seek the approval of others. And so many people get into relationships because they are seeking this validation and this outside source of love and comfort and praise and cuddles. And so a lot of people get into a relationship just to be in a relationship because they're seeking this outside validation, and they haven't learned to feel good just for who they are and just loving themselves even if no one's around. You know, if you're all alone in the woods and you love yourself and no one is around to see it, it still feels pretty good. It feels like love, and that's because self-love is love, and it is the most important love to master, and I've made plenty of videos on that, so I will go ahead and link one of them right now. I don't know if it's on this side or this side. But we need to learn to enjoy things and validate ourselves for ourselves. So that's moving into tip number 2, is learning to enjoy things for yourself and to just do things that you enjoy even if no one wants to go with you. And this is an issue that I have dealt with in the past, and even sometimes still when I've got no one to hang out with. You feel like you don't want to do things that you would normally want to do because you have no one to go with you, whether it's like going to some holiday event, a party, going to concerts, and you really need to learn to just do things for you. And you know, people think it's sad if someone goes to a restaurant by themselves, or they see someone going to a movie alone and they're like, oh no, I feel so sad for that lonely person. But you know, maybe they're having a good time. You can actually enjoy yourself quite a bit. So take yourself on a date, take yourself to the movies, get yourself a dinner, do something that you like and do it for yourself. And it's actually really awesome learning to do things for yourself and experience things for yourself and enjoy things for yourself, because then you don't need a relationship, and then you don't cuff up to someone for the winter season and then dump them after you've used them for that validation. You enjoy things for yourself, and that way you won't like try to get in a relationship just to be with someone. You can actually have standards and values and try and find someone who works into your life, because you love yourself and you do things for you and you've built a life for yourself, or you're working on it, and you will find someone who fits into that rather than trying to find someone to just please let me be with someone so I can feel like I'm not a loser on Christmas. And I'm sorry to joke about it if you're feeling sad, because a lot of people do feel that way. I just try and joke about it to lighten the mood, because we've all been there, right? So you can date yourself and get to know yourself a bit better and find out what you like doing and do things without being witnessed doing them. go on a hike in nature. I do that all the time. I go out in nature and be alone by myself. And I used to think thoughts like, oh, this is so beautiful. It'd be so great if this person was with me to see it. But I've learned to kind of like quiet that voice and say, oh, this is so beautiful, and to just be in the moment and appreciate it. So you see the difference there is you can actually learn to be in the moment and appreciate things for yourself rather than just wanting someone to come along to witness your story. Because that's really what it comes down to, I think, is everyone has a story that they tell about themselves and their life, and for a lot of people, their partner is a big part of that story. And we want someone to see our story and understand who we are and witness who we are. But the story is still being witnessed by someone. It's being witnessed by the most important someone, and that's you. So you're witnessing your own story, and you are enjoying it for yourself. And that's really what this whole life is all about, and this whole universe is about, is just enjoying the experience and being in the moment. So when we learn to start enjoying things for ourselves and doing the things that we want to for ourselves, then it makes life a whole lot more enjoyable. Alright, moving right along to tip number 3, and that is to learn to appreciate and value your platonic relationships and be vulnerable in front of people that you aren't trying to be in a romantic relationship with. I feel like another thing that we have going on in our culture, our society, is that a lot of people reserve emotional intimacy and vulnerability for only one relationship in their life, and that is their romantic relationship. And a lot of people don't get close or as close to their friends as they do as their partner, and that's really kind of sad because most of your relationships are platonic relationships, they're friendships. And, you know, you can have a lot of different romantic relationships, and some of them are good and bad, and they change you, and you have all sorts of experiences. But your friends are the ones who are there through it all, on the side, your ride or die people. And those are the relationships that stick with you and that really matter. Because friendships are some of the most amazing relationships that we can cultivate in this life. And you don't have to date everyone that you get close to. I feel like as soon as people start getting close in any intimate way, the thought goes to romance because it's just right there all the time. We're always being bombarded with this idea that we need to find a romantic relationship. So as soon as you open up to someone and you're vulnerable with them, you're just like, oh, you know all of my deepest, darkest secrets. So we're basically dating, right? It's like, no. You don't have to get spicy with everyone you tell your real feelings to. So learn to be vulnerable and open to your family, your friends, people that you're not trying to date, and really value those relationships. And if you start feeling lonely during the holidays, during cuffing season, and you want to share these moments in this time of the year with someone, share it with your family, share it with your friends. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. And you're honestly probably going to be a lot better off working on those friendships and familial relationships than just trying to get with someone because you don't want to be alone over the holidays, because that's, you know, not really something to build a relationship on, is not wanting to be lonely. So if you do get lonely, you can lean on your friends and your family and spend more time with those people, because it's not good to be isolated all the time either. You can learn a lot when you're by yourself and do a lot of self-reflection, but it's good to be around other people. Humans are social animals, and it's nice, you know, to celebrate life and the universe and holidays with other people. So don't let yourself get cooped up and alone on the holidays either, because then you're just going to feel even more sad and alone. So just ask your friends to hang out. Ask your cousin, your sister, whoever it is. Ask someone to hang out, spend time with other people, so you don't feel so alone and isolated this cuffing season. And finally, our last tip number 4 for surviving cuffing season when you're single, and I think this is probably the simplest tip and the easiest to pull off, is to remember to keep yourself warm. So remember that one of the main reasons cuffing season even happens is because it gets colder and people want to cuddle up with somebody. But you don't need to resort to starting a whole relationship just because you're cold. You can get yourself a blanket, put on a jacket, start a fire, turn on the heat if you can afford it. And the reason that I wanted to add this tip is because I have a super awesome special secret that helps you to feel warm and loved during the wintertime, during cuffing season, and that is weighted blankets. I know it's simple, it's literally just buying something, but it really helps. If you don't know what a weighted blanket is, weighted blankets are awesome. It's literally a blanket that is weighted. They can be anywhere from like 5 pounds to 25 pounds, I've seen them. And this is something that the nursing field has known about for a long time. They've used this with a lot of their patients because the feeling of having the weighted blanket wrapped around you and pressed around you simulates a similar feeling to being held by somebody, and it releases a lot of those same good feelings in the brain. And I love my weighted blanket. I actually got it after I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship and I was going through cuddle withdrawal, so it really helps with this sort of thing. And whenever you're feeling lonely or like you need a good cuddle with your blanket, I just get my blanket out, wrap up, and it's really nice. So I wanted to share that with you all. And these have been my 4 tips for surviving cuffing season as a single person. I hope that you found it useful, and if you're feeling lonely this holiday season, I love you. You're not alone. You're awesome, and your worth is not dependent on being in a relationship. So, as always, much love to my allies out there. If you like the video, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to our channel. And I'll be seeing all of you on the next video. Bye!